You know, it's funny, Mike. Your picture's still frozen on my screen, which I'm fine with, but it refroze at a different spot where I guess you were away from your microphone, so I'm just seeing your cat in front of the microphone. Yeah, it's like a gray and white cat. Yeah.
My cat was never over here, was it?
Ooh, it's the ghost of Pussyfoot.
I don't remember any of my cats being over here.
Podcasting ghost cat.
Pussyfoot, the podcasting ghost cat. Oh, there's another one.
So I see no cat, and my video feed is not frozen at all.
I don't remember ever owning a cat.
The cat is coming from inside the house.
The cat is coming. Oh, God. On this episode of the MacGuffin Guild, we're going to take part in underground experimentation and hope for the best in strange behavior, also known as Dead Kids. This 1981 horror sci-fi mystery was directed by Michael Laughlin and written by Laughlin along with Bill Condon, starring Michael Murphy, Louise Fletcher, Dan Shor, Fiona Lewis, and Marc McClure. We're going to talk about the effects of experiments on unknowing teenagers, what Billy the Kid and Jimmy Olson are up to these days, as well as how to properly pronounce aesthetic. We'll discuss giving up your shin bones to cheat death, Dennis Hopper's meat puppet hand in Speed, and how to tell your grandchildren that you played the character called Fat Girl in the movie Dead Kids. We'll get into the Taco Bell ashtray throwing stars and whether or not for $1,000 you would watch Twister on loop for 24 straight hours. I'm Pat Doherty, and as always I'll be joined by my fellow MacGuffins Justin Jones and Mike Antonio. Our theme song was written and performed by Jordan Vincent. Somewhere in the American heartland, town population is down about 6 feet in strange behavior, also known as Dead Kids.
You better than this.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the MacGuffin Guild. Thank you again for joining us. Little heads up before we get into things. Our audio may sound a little different this time around than usual. We are actually trying to be responsible adults, and we are doing a remote recording today. So a few of our episodes coming up here may sound like this, but we make it a point to want to have the highest possible audio quality for you so you can clearly hear all of our dick and poop jokes. So, as always, I am with my fellow MacGuffins, Mr. Justin Jones. How you doing, Justin?
Dick jokes, check. Poop jokes, check.
All right, good.
We're good.
You're ready,
locked and loaded.
Ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll.
All right, so you think this is being recorded?
Let's hope so.
Okay. Also with us, as always, Mr. Mike Antonio. How you doing, Mike?
So wait, dick in poop jokes? Is that what I'm hearing?
Poop jokes.
Is that right?
No.
Apparently, they were already having audio problems. I heard dick in poop.
Dick in poop. Yes.
It seems appropriate that the film we did today is Strange Behavior because that's what is on display at the moment. Also known as and Justin, maybe you can give a little history here. I don't know specifically how this went down, but apparently the original title was Dead Kids. Is that correct?
No, I believe the original title was actually Strange Behavior, and then somewhere along the line it got changed to Dead Kids.
Oh, wow, they changed it to Dead Kids? I would have thought they changed it from.
Yeah, so the only reason I think it's that way is because Michael Laughlin.
Laughlin, I thought.
Laughlin, sorry. Or Bill Condon. I'm sorry with these names.
Bill Condon, yeah.
Michael Laughlin, yeah. Bill Condon.
Yes. I think their original intention was to make a trilogy of films all with the word strange in it. The first one being Strange Behavior in 81, the second one being Strange Invaders in 83, and then the third one actually never happened.
Yes, however, I did read that.
Yeah, I would like to see that actually happen now, 40 years later.
Yeah. Do you know what the third title was going to be?
Strange Podcast.
Strange Podcast.
No, I'm not really sure. I don't know if they actually had it worked out yet, or if they were just had the idea of making 3 strange movies with 3,
So real quick, out of curiosity, have you ever seen Strange Invaders?
I have. Yeah.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah. I like it.
I did read that was like a flop, and that's why they didn't continue.
Is that what happened? Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I think it wasn't like financially viable to continue on with the next film.
I definitely enjoyed Strange Behavior much more than Strange Invaders, but I still like Strange Invaders. Part of the problem with Strange Invaders, which we're here to talk about right now, is
I would assume that's an alien invasion type of movie.
Correct.
See, that's up my alley. I love that.
Yeah, it was cool. I really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I really liked it, but like I didn't like it nearly as much as Strange Behavior. And some of the characters kind of like the main character, played by Paula Mapp, kind of grated on me a little bit.
Is that?
But you'll see a lot of the same cast, like Dan Shor, Dae Young.
I thought you were going to say Don Amici.
Don Amici's in it.
I
Or is he?
like Don
No, I'm
Amici.
sorry, Don Amici's not in it. Me too.
All right, so real quick, let's give a little backstory on the film we are here to talk about.
Okay.
Strange Behavior, 1981, apparently November 13th, 1981. Horror, mystery, sci-fi, hour and 27 minutes long. Little synopsis: a scientist is experimenting with teenagers and turning them into murderers. I don't like when the synopsis pretty much gives the whole plot away in 7 words.
Yeah, that
Does a pretty good
you're
job.
You kind of don't want to know that going into it, I would say. Hopefully,
That's true.
Hopefully, everyone listening to this has seen the movie.
But I mean, that synopsis is literally at the top of the page.
Yeah,
on
that's-
IMDb.
that's-
Like they just put it all out there.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's also funny though? It's kind of suiting for this movie because I feel like you actually see it's one of those movies where you see the killer like
Yeah.
in the first 10 minutes of the movie. You're like,
yeah.
you already know who he is.
Yeah, that's
Because even
true.
like after I saw his character later on, I'm like, wait, didn't he just kill somebody? And they're like acting like But and then I had a second until they show him kill the second person, and I'm like, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Sounds like we're getting a little ahead.
A little bit.
So here's what I want to do. This film apparently has a bunch of taglines from when it came out. So I want to read some of the taglines.
interesting.
Some of them are pretty good. Here we go. First one: it's the dead of night and everybody's asleep. Almost everybody. So not a very good tagline, but it's a tagline.
That's kind of lame. Like,
Here's another one.
what?
Murder-
Like the night shift people aren't asleep? Is that what they're trying to say?
I don't know. Yeah, who knows? Gas station. I don't know.
Gas station attendants.
Yeah. Murder, mayhem, and mystery strikes fear into a quiet college town. Ooh.
That's like a plot synopsis.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Here's a good one. I actually like this one. Town population is down about 6 feet.
Oh,
I like that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah.
nice.
Here's another one. Good kids turned killers.
Okay.
This one,
That's kind of a spoiler.
Someone needs to explain this one to me.
Okay.
This one simply says, cuts up parts other movies just dislocate. That's just a silly tagline.
I guess they're just trying to say like it goes further than other films. Like it goes, but I don't know that it does.
Yeah, and then here's the last one. Somewhere in the American heartland, Dr. Claude Lessange is conducting a few experiments. ... Directed by Michael Laughlin and written by Michael Laughlin and Bill Condon. Now, Bill Condon, I know
that name.
Yeah, I don't know how this one didn't jump out at me when I watched this the other day. Bill Condon has done a ton of stuff, directed a ton of stuff, including Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh in 95.
Oh, okay. That's the second one.
Yeah, Gods and Monsters,
Oh.
Dreamgirls, Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 1 and Part 2.
I mean, he directed it, I guess.
So this movie on Rotten Tomatoes, on the tomato meter, is really surprising to me. And as usual, I'm going to have you guys guess what you think the critic score is, the tomato meter, and then the audience score. So, Justin, since this was your pick, I'm going to have you guess first what you think the percentage is on the critic review tomato meter.
58.
Okay, Mike?
66.
80%.
I think I might want.
Damn.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Critic? This type of movie?
Yeah, surprisingly. Now, it's based on 10 reviews, but even still, 80% is pretty crazy for this film.
Hey, here's the reason why I kind of believe that. And it's nothing against this movie because I really like it. Well, shit, I picked it. But I feel like in the early 80s, as far as like certain movies, I felt like there was a weird dynamic in what people wanted to watch. Because I remember there was a period of time I was going through like old Chevy Chase movies. And I think I'll have to look it up. I don't remember exactly when it came out, but I was looking up, or maybe someone can do it for me while I'm doing this. I watched Modern Problems, which I think it was a fairly popular movie. I never heard of it until I started looking it up.
I've never seen it.
I think actually Sarah might have brought it up to me because her and her dad used to quote it, and we watched it, and it was like the humor was really weird, and it was like a little off, and I was surprised that like they made something like that. Anyway, but I just think it was a different atmosphere where people were appreciating certain things. Dabney Coleman's in it.
I don't know that movie at all.
Wow. I think Nell Carter's in that one, isn't he?
I thought you were going to say Funny Farm.
Oh no, that was like late 80s, early 90s, wasn't it?
I don't know, but I like that movie, although I have not seen it in decades.
He also did around the same time, it was like the movie he did with Goldie Hawn, where like she plays his ex-wife and he's a writer and he gets caught up in this bank robbery, but he didn't even rob the bank. He like some guys robbed the bank and they used him to give the note, and then it was like there was a strange thing. And then what else was around the same time?
I don't know what that
anyway,
was.
Anyway, around the 80s, I felt like there was a like late 70s, even like the Clint Eastwood movie with the orangutan. Christ, I'm losing my mind.
What are you all right?
Yeah,
you seem
a bit loose. I feel like that late 70s, early 80s is very. Am I chopping up or am I just being weird?
No, you're getting a little out of sorts.
No, you're not. You're not breaking up. But I was not expecting a Clint Eastwood with an orangutan. Or was it Clint Eastwood or was it Charlton Heston?
Any which way but loose, yeah.
Oh, well, Heston was in some orangutan movies too, if we're being honest.
Well, yeah.
Well,
right?
I mean, I think there might have been one orangutan in there. I think the rest were chimpanzees.
Yeah. Okay, let's give a range of reviews on this one.
Well, wait, what's the audience score?
Oh, I'm sorry. The audience score for this one is.
We have to guess.
Okay.
Did you want me to wrap up my point, by the way?
Oh my God!
You weren't done. Wait, what was your point?
What?
That went so deep. I got lost in the woods, man.
Oh man.
No, okay. Could you wrap it up? Like, could you do it within 3 minutes?
Yeah. Well, in order for me to sum up my point, I'm going to need you to ask the question again because I don't remember.
I don't even remember.
No,
no idea.
You were making a point about the why the critical review.
I don't recall
why the percentage was so high.
I don't recall ever asking the question.
You didn't. Justin was riffing off of the critical tomato meter.
Okay.
The question again was, what dimension are you in right now? And would you mind coming back and joining the rest of us? No, I think my point was, I think in that late 70s, early 80s, I feel like there was an interesting, what people thought was funny.
So range of reviews here. Oh, did I give you the answer on the audience score?
No.
All right. So do you guys want to guess what the audience score is based on 501 user ratings?
66.
Oh, stealing my thunder. I'm going to say 67.
No. 44%.
Wow. So this movie, the critics were almost double.
Yeah, they like it almost twice as much. Yep. So give a quick range here. Now, most of the reviews I have from critics are positive, obviously, because it's 80%. So I'll read some of their positives and then I'll switch over to the audience reviews to give the range. So I got Dennis Schwartz from Dennis Schwartz Movie Reviews, both grisly and absurd. That's it. That's the review.
Is that a positive?
That's a negative.
Oh,
is it?
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's a positive.
I was going to say, I agree with them.
Grisly and absurd is like right up my alley.
It's a rating.
In my wheelhouse.
It's a B.
Yeah.
He gave it a B. All right, Sean Axemaker. We've had him before.
Oh, come on.
From what?
That dude don't make axes. He's full of shit.
Yeah. He's from Turner Classic Movies Online. The title Dead Kids makes it sound like a slasher picture or a zombie film. It's really a mix of mad scientist thriller and revenge movie dropped into a somewhat surreal recreation of a small town Midwest America.
Okay.
So
but it's totally not really because it wasn't filmed in the Midwest of America.
Yeah.
Well, but it's supposed to be the Midwest of America, even though it's on the exact opposite side of the world.
Man, this person really got into it. Anton Battelle, we've had him before. Vadzilla.co. Where would that be?
That before?
CO? Is that a thing, or did they just leave off the M?
That is a thing.
Oh, it is a thing? All right, so Vadzilla. I recognize his name. But anyway, a psychodrama set in the strange limbo where bloody horror meets sci-fi. It exposes age-old vindictiveness, undying jealousy, and Freudian friction in a small-town slice of Americana that seems sleepy, but harbors evil grudges from beyond the grave.
Yep.
This person really got into it.
Yeah, they kind of pegged it.
Yeah, that's some nail on the head stuff here.
So Andreas Samuelson from Slasher Pool, oddball, well-made, and original take on the 80s teen slasher genre. So Christopher Null from filmcritic.com. This is a negative, apparently, 2.5 out of 5. We need more dance numbers. We need more Tangerine Dream, which they did the music.
Yeah, Tangerine. I was gonna. Yeah,
Oh,
I
did
did
they?
like that about that. Yeah, when the credits came up and I saw they did the music, I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome.
I
love
did not pick up on that. Yeah.
When I think of Tangerine Dream, one of the things I think of is the movie William Friedkin's Sorcerer. And the
I've
reason
never seen that.
Yeah, I bought the record years ago, and I never even heard the movie Sorcerer. And I like William Friedkin, like his movies, so I bought the soundtrack. It was a great soundtrack. But I always think of that. Of that. He did, Strange Behavior. The Keep. I don't know if have you ever guys seen
Oh, yes. I love that movie.
Yeah, they did the soundtrack for that, Firestarter.
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go to the audience reviews now. So first one, this is a positive, 4 stars out of 5. AJV, super reviewer, says this horror movie has a silly plot, but it's so bad. I loved it. It's unintentionally funny and enjoyable because of that. So
I don't agree with that.
well,
I don't
he
agree
liked
with
it.
that at all. Yeah, I mean, he liked it for the wrong reasons.
He liked it for the wrong reasons, yeah.
But let me backtrack and say there's no wrong way to like something. But
Yeah, that's true.
If there were,
No,
this guy did it.
that's true. But
He nailed it.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not true. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. But I think it's a little unfair to say that it's so bad.
it's so bad.
It's
like,
good. Like, I don't know. I think it's just,
I don't agree with that for this movie.
yeah. I don't
All right,
agree
so
either.
to some negatives. So this is Scott S. Now, he does not have the tag of super reviewer, so
Oh, boy.
let's judge him accordingly.
Yeah, we'll give him a little slack.
Strange behavior. I'm all for doctors performing scary experiments on teenagers, but this movie bored me to distraction. The budget must have been really, really tight because the whole movie plays out in wide shots. Not very visually interesting. Tangerine Dream's music was the only... oh, God, I fucked it up, Mike. Tangerine Dream's music was the only aesthetic... Oh, God, see, I'm going to fuck it up.
That was it. You had
Wasn't it? God, that word trips me out, Justin, because I feel like it should be aesthetic. Like the...
I thought it is aesthetic.
It's aesthetic. 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 Aesthetic.
It is aesthetic?
Aesthetic.
I always say aesthetic. Are you sure?
Yep.
I'm positive.
He listened to it before.
Yeah,
wow,
listen,
right.
here, let me see if I still have it up.
Aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
I just think that robot has a lisp.
It's tripping me out, dude. All right.
Yeah.
All right, yeah,
Get
get back
that
into
one.
it.
No. I'm gonna do it. You ready?
Take it from the top again.
Here we go. Tangerine Dream's music was the only aesthetic. Fuck, I got contribution wrong. All right, hold on. Here we go. I had aesthetic, but then I got, oh my God, it sounds like I have a lisp. It's horrible. Tangerine Dream's music was the only aesthetic.
No, you're good. That sounded super.
Sounded
serious. Keep up the good work.
He's super ethereal.
Oh no! Oh. Okay, here I got it. It sounded super. God damn it! Oh God, that's gonna be one that's gonna come back 45 minutes from now and just hit me.
Of course.
All right, here we go. Tangerine Dream's music was the only aesthetic.
You might as well move on. You're never getting through this one ever.
All right. I'm going to move on. Here, let me wrap this one up. I'm going to just take that word out. Tangerine Dream's music was the only contribution to any semblance of the mood or atmosphere. Does that make sense?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Feels like a word might have been missing though.
Yeah.
I think
Okay,
the word might be aesthetic.
Did you say athletic?
Possibly.
Aesthetic.
I like how horrible we are with everyday words that everyone should know.
No. Oh my God.
It's a weird word, but it's aesthetic.
Oh my God.
Aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
All right.
Tangerine Dream's music was the only aesthetic.
Nah.
You keep saying aesthetic.
I'm gonna sound like Daffy Duck. Oh my!
Aesthetic.
I'm just gonna say aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
Yeah, just say it.
Okay. Tangerine Dream's music was the only aesthetic contribution to any semblance of mood or atmosphere. Fortunately, co-writer Bill Condon would later go on to write Chicago and direct Gods and Monsters and Dreamgirls, which is very interesting to me, by the way.
Yeah.
That seems like he took quite the path in his career. Mm-hmm. All right, so we have Garth D, 2 stars. This should be listed under its better title, Dead Kids. Of course, with that title comes, I think, some expectations. And this movie was fucking boring. God. So maybe it should be listed under its generic title, Strange Behavior, so as not to raise any expectations. Oh, well. Garth is angry.
Yeah.
Garth is angry, and I kind of I really like this movie, but I'm beginning to question if I'm in the minority because
Clearly.
I feel like with his advanced writing skills with ending a statement with "oh well," that maybe he is more. I'm shitting on this guy. I don't know. It's poor guy. He's entitled to his opinion.
Yeah,
I disagree.
I mean,
I liked it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. He doesn't have to be so angry.
Seeing multiple people talk about how boring the film is.
Yeah, I didn't take it as boring.
No.
I didn't get that.
I think there's parts of it that kind of drag. There are for sure. But you could say that about any movie.
Yeah.
Well, just about.
All right. So anyway. Oh, did I cut you off, Mike?
No, it didn't matter. I was just going to kind of reiterate.
Normally doesn't. So this is Justin's pick. So Justin, I'm going to throw this over to you, and I want you to tell us a little bit about your history with this film and how it ended up on the MacGuffin Guild.
So this one's a little different than my normal picks. A lot of times I'll pick something I saw ages ago that kind of stuck with me, that I may have rewatched or just kind of came up in my mind that I wanted to share with everyone. This one's a little bit different because I had never actually seen this before, a week or so ago. It's been on my list for my 2C list forever. I don't even remember where I first heard about it or, I finally saw that it was on Shudder's Leaving Soon list. So I was like, man, I better watch this now. And I liked it. I liked it better than I thought I would. Something I read. I didn't think I'd like it. Maybe it was, I don't know, Garth D's review or something where I thought it wouldn't be up for me. But I don't know. After a while, maybe I'm going in with low expectations is why I liked it so much. But and then I was surprised when I saw all the people I knew from other movies and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's pretty much my history with it. It's pretty short.
Man, I had no idea that you had never seen this movie until recently.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
This definitely seems like a Justin movie. From back in the day.
I was going to say, like you said, Justin, most of the time, in fact, I think every movie you've picked to this point has been a movie that you're well versed in, I would say.
Yeah, and I didn't really know much about this.
Let's talk about the top-notch Halloween party with goofy-ass Batman.
And dance number.
Yeah, that Batman costume. I want to get that Batman costume. That thing was legit.
All those costumes were very inspired from the 50s or 60s or something too. It was did you notice it was all
was it
old school?
Yeah, it felt that way.
Yeah.
Even that Luke Christie song they were playing, The Lightning Strikes. Mm-hmm. It's funny, all the kids, that would have been 20 years, 30 years,
Yeah.
I don't know when the song came out. And they're all into it,
Yeah.
Which actually, I'm going to backtrack just a little bit now you bring that up. Is I think part of the reason why the critics liked it more than the audience did is because I feel like critics are generally older, and I think that a lot of the inspiration that the filmmakers had were things from their past, because there's a lot of there's a whole 50s, 60s kind of vibe to this. Well, the mad scientist and music and a lot of that stuff. So I think it harkens back to a lot of that. Mm-hmm. And so I think critics can pick up on that stuff. Or if you think about your average moviegoer when this was coming out was probably, a teenager or something that probably wouldn't pick up on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, that's a really
that makes
valid
sense.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which going back to those costumes and stuff too. Those costumes were all that era.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bounce around a little bit. I want to talk about the character Waldow. Waldow was kind of the, I don't know, what would you call him from high school? Kind of a bully. Yeah. So he had a car with no doors on it.
Yeah, that was weird.
What the hell was that about?
Yeah, I was curious because it looked like a 57 Chevy. I don't know if that was part of the hot rodding scene where people would just take the doors off their car. I'm not really sure. This is a good time for someone that's in the hot rod and to let us know.
Maybe he was in the process of fixing it up and just didn't have doors for it yet. Or maybe that's like an Australian or New Zealand thing that doesn't translate to us. I don't know.
Could be. I'm not sure. Because if you think about like old hot rods, they'll take the whole tops off of cars. They take the whole wood off of cars. Why not take the doors off?
Yeah, let's blow the doors off this bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, so I liked how there was... Okay, so just to paint a little bit of a picture here for anyone who may not have seen the film.
They can't see you painting, Pat.
Film starts with a murder, like right away, within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. Like
and
right
then,
off the bat.
Right off the bat. And we see who the murderer is in that moment. Like you see their face. And then obviously there's some mystery amongst town about what's going on here. And then later on, there's a bunch of kids at a party. And then we have another murder, or an attempted murder, I guess. There was
the young girl gets attacked while she's swimming in the pool, but they
attacked and pushed. Wasn't she kind of pushed into the pool?
Yeah, she can't.
There wasn't a murder. They killed Waldow first.
That's right. They did kill Waldow. Yeah. Okay, so there was another murder.
Waldow, and then they were after her. The party
tried to kill his 13-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the part that I want to talk about.
The partygoers rescue her.
Yeah, the partygoers rescued her, but Waldow got killed. So now there's two victims. Now, at one point, the police chief goes into the autopsy. The forensic guy is in there. There's both bodies under sheets, and he's kind of doing his thing. And I don't remember exactly who said this line. It may have been the autopsy dude, but they said, okay, this is what my note says here. I like how just because each victim was stabbed differently, they assume multiple murderers. My point being, I know that sort of science is used for bullets, but just because a different type of sharp knife object is used, that's not a valid thing, is it? Or am I nuts?
I know. I think what he was saying, like Waldow was kind of savagely scraped at. Like he was just like slashed up. Where the first guy, they said that he cut his eyes out in a surgical. Where one was more savage and the other one was more precise. Okay. Yeah, I think that was his point.
Okay. Yeah, I must have missed the impact of that because I thought he was saying, "Oh, they were stabbed differently. It's clearly two different murderers." And I was like,
"Yeah,
no. It was the style and those guys, man. They know everything. They can pick up all the little details that anyone else would obviously miss. That's why they do that job, and we don't."
That's why I host a podcast.
The first body was definitely stabbed by a left-handed person. The second body was definitely used by a prehensile tail.
They can tell a lot by that kind of stuff. It's although I don't know how much a small town coroner would know. It probably for that kind of detailed analysis, it would probably have to be like an expert leader in the field of forensics.
Oh, I think they would know enough to see someone going fucking ape shit on somebody versus someone having like surgical precision, though. You know what I mean? I think I could walk up somebody and be like, oh yeah, that someone got fucking mauled by a bear, and that person got cut up by somebody that got a college education.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I missed it. I was being a little more, I guess.
Did you miss it?
I did miss it. So, can I ask a question? Okay, so we're just going to get into this thing. What we start to discover, I would say by maybe a third into the film, is there are multiple, how shall I say, culprits? I have a question. And again, spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and you don't want it to be spoiled, then pause it now, come back after you watch. You can get it on... It might still be on Shudder. If not, it's on Amazon Prime.
But you should definitely watch it before you listen to this podcast.
You should watch it. But look, if you haven't watched
always.
It's all right. It's hopefully we're still helping get you through your car ride or entertain you in any capacity whatsoever. But little backstory before we get into things here. There are a couple of the actors in this film that were surprising to find out who they were. One I noticed right away, Louise Fletcher, who played Nurse Ratched back in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So that was awesome to see her again. Don Shor played the character of Pete Brady. He surprisingly played Billy the Kid in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So he definitely, it was cool to see him in his youth. That was wild, though, to discover that was him. And then we had the character of Marc McClure, who played Oliver. He was, or is best known as Jimmy Olsen in the 80s and 90s Superman movies. He also played Dave McFly in Back to the Future. So again, really neat to see some of these actors who we've all encountered in our youth way back in the day in a film like this. So it's pretty wild stuff. My question is this. So the Jimmy Olsen character, Oliver, it turns out, was the one, again, spoiler, that killed Waldow. Is that correct?
Correct.
Because he runs off.
In the Tor Johnson mask.
Yes, he runs off after the pool situation, after the girl gets saved by the partygoers.
And he pulls off the mask. And
it's him, Jimmy Olsen, in the flesh. So my question, at the end of the film, was there a single repercussion for Jimmy Olsen? He was just going on about his life at that point.
No,
I mean,
I actually wrote that down. I thought it was funny at the wedding. They're like, it has the music playing and everybody's looking at each other smiling, and it shows him and he's smiling. I'm like, that guy still like not only killed 2 people, he also cut out one of their eyes and stuck them up as a scarecrow.
I would
like, and he's like,
I would
good.
say, under the circumstances, he's not responsible for his actions because he was being mind controlled.
Honestly, though, if I was mind controlled and I knew there was a part of my life where I was mind controlled, they're like, oh, we hate to tell you this, but while you're under mind control, you killed 2 people. One of them, you poked his eyes out and then cut the rest out. And then while everyone was looking for him, like days later, they found him with a pole up his ass and he was a scarecrow. How do you feel about that? I'm like, not too good about myself.
Well,
but I'm trying to go to this wedding.
Yeah, can we talk about this after the wedding?
Maybe they
try to tie one on.
Maybe the kids under the mind control don't remember doing the stuff. So
no, I'm saying he probably doesn't remember, but someone probably told him he did that.
Yeah, but
no.
But it's probably like a disconnect, like you did it, but at the same time you're like, well, it wasn't really me. I don't remember it.
I'm just saying, as someone with questionable drinking habits, there's a lot of stuff I did I don't remember that I felt really fucking shitty about later anyway.
Yeah. And you never took anything that far.
However...
No, I've never...
Are you sure?
Open someone's eyes and stuck a pole up their ass. No.
Are you? Yeah. Are you?
Is this an intervention? Is this whole... Are you guys trying to tell me?
No. So I noticed again that one of the things I hone in on, bad dubs. There were plenty of bad dubs throughout this film.
Were there?
Yeah.
If you guys recall, when I was watching it, my internet kept going out. So I was watching it in pieces and getting frustrated. So there was a lot of things I probably didn't pick up on.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on any of that, but I'm not even remotely surprised that you did. That is like totally your thing. Like if there's something off, Pat will pick it up.
Speaking of that, another thing I picked up on was this odd, sudden, quick cut, a really weird cut when the Timothy character was discovered in the bathroom by that old lady, and that girl had cut off his hand.
I swear I know that girl from somewhere. Like I know her from something.
Did you look her up?
But no, I didn't, because I don't even know what her name is. I have no idea what the character's name is.
Could have tracked that down.
Yeah, they just referred to her in the movie. Let's see if they just referred to her in the movie as the fat girl.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's
God.
right. That's right, because that's why she goes there, because she has a weight problem or something.
Oh, that's horrible. Jeez.
Yeah. I think they just ever refer to her.
Does that actress have other film roles? Please tell me that's not her only film role. Because that would be a little something a little awkward to tell your grandkids.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I'm just saying, in Monster Squad, they call Horace Fat Kid.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're going to be in a role that makes fun of some form of physical attribute of yours, I would hope it's not your only role.
Ah, well, sure.
Because then her telling her kids, oh, I was in a movie once. Oh, yeah, Grandma, what movie? Dead Kids. Oh, what part did you play? Fat Girl. It's just not a good, it's not a good overall story.
Well, I think there might be pause when she first says the name of the movie. And they're like, oh, wait. And then there'll be a conversation about that. And then she would follow up.
Well, first of all,
I don't see her.
She probably wouldn't call it Dead Kids. She'd probably call it Strange Behavior.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I did want to talk about real quick. This movie reminded me a lot of, I don't know if every one of this author's books is like the same thing, but several of his books that I read back when I was a teenager all had to deal with like these sinister doctors or whatever, some kind of corporation or something doing experiments on the town's children and making them do weird stuff. The author's name is John Saul. I think it's Saul. A lot of his books dealt with, like, basically, like, this movie was like, that's a plot of a John Saul book.
Yeah.
He was really into
Interesting.
that type of story.
All right, so what we have happen is the Oliver character reveals to his friend Pete. Correct me if I get any of this wrong, because I've only seen the film once. Oliver, who's Jimmy Olsen, tells Pete, who's Mr. the Kid, that he has been going and making some money on the side, volunteering. Well, he's getting paid, but for experiments. Correct? He goes to this place and they do experiments. But
yeah, because he's trying to get money for college applications, which I guess do you pay money for college applications? I don't remember.
I'm not sure. So anyway, so the Pete character, Mr. the Kid, he ends up eventually checking this out. And through the course of taking part in these experiments, things get a little shadier and shadier. And the character of Pete has a pretty horrific moment eventually with this Dr. Parkinson character. She works for the main doctor, Dr. Lasange, who we believe has passed away. At the beginning, we see a video of him explaining there was a little, an interesting scene with a chicken or a rooster with a little helmet on, and he was telling it what to do. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so this the Fiona Lewis character, Gwen Parkinson, ends up jabbing this needle into the eye of Mr. the Kid, the Pete character. Mm-hmm. And after that, Pete's body then clearly starts taking a toll from all this experimental activity that's going on with him. Now, I know I'm cutting huge chunks of this out, but I'm trying to give the abridged version of what's going on here. So,
yeah, no, that's fine.
What ends up happening then is he goes into a bathroom and he starts urinating blood. Correct? Remember that? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's after he passes out. After he passes out at a restaurant. So he goes into the bathroom. Yeah. Now, his aim when he is urinating blood was extremely questionable. Like, I know he's not feeling
questionable
well.
How?
Questionable that he was spraying it. It was almost as if he was intentionally spraying blood all over the bathroom.
Do you think you would be kind of weirded out though if like you started like you're like, oh, I'm just peeing? Holy shit! That's
you might be like a little unsteady.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe I'm being too hard.
Well,
on
let's
him.
find out. I'm gonna punch you in your dick.
Oh my god! Digitally, right?
Yeah.
Send me an email.
Well, also too, while he's peeing and he backs up, the camera angle's kind of weird because you can kind of clearly see he's like holding like a hose or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could see there's nothing there.
I knew you saw that.
Oh yeah, I totally saw that. But
real quick, I looked up the girl in question's name was Paula in this movie, and this was the only film credit she had.
Oh really?
I swear she's familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been cool to see her in other stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Glad she got a proper credit name, though.
That was quite the fall that Pete took in the diner. It was very dramatic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, do we want to spoil the ending? Well, we've kind of already, there is a whole nother zinger that we haven't given away yet. So maybe we should keep that to ourselves.
I am your father.
Well, yeah, between us, can we just talk about that real quick? Between us, no one else is listening. That's what they were getting at, correct? That when he said kill your dad, he stabbed the doctor.
It's basically Pete's mom was having an affair with Dr. Lasange. So actually, that Dr. Lasange was Pete's dad.
Yeah,
so kill your father. He stabs him.
Pete would have had to known that to get that command, because it would go off of what he knows. It's not like it's tapping into some cosmic thing.
Yeah,
that, you know.
Yeah, because
he always suspected the whole time.
What I have in my notes, it says, "Shitty way to find out you have a son."
Well, the thing is too, that's actually a really interesting point. So a couple things could happen here, right? So Pete could be Lestrange's Lestrange's son.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, at some point, he'd have to find out. So when the command is given, that he would kill him, right?
Well,
or
I don't know. You're making the assumption. You're making the assumption that. Yeah, no, you're right. If it was a subconscious thing,
if you're tapping into the subconsciously, Pete has to think that Lestrange is his dad. So a couple things need to happen. Either A, there has to be some question whether he is or isn't. Like, do you think he's your dad? And maybe his whole life, maybe he kind of thought maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. And when he gave the command, he just decided to entertain that side that he is his father. And then that's how he ended up killing him. So we don't know as the audience whether he was or wasn't. It's just the way Dan Shor's character, Pete, as we know him.
Well, let me ask you this. Why was Lestrange faking his death in the first place? Why did he fake die?
I think there's too much heat on him. Town was onto him because that's why he started then killing off the kids because there's people that were trying to bring him down.
Okay.
So I think he kind of removed himself from the picture to kind of take some heat off the school.
Okay.
While he could still continue his studies through.
Yeah, because I was like, why did he do that? I didn't pick up on that. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but what I didn't understand is why he had to give up his shin bones to do so. Did anyone get that?
Yeah, I have that in my notes too. I said 2 bones ? Like,
yeah, because he even says when he's in the wheelchair, he's like, I had to give up my shin bones and I would do more to continue my studies. And it's like, wait, can we backtrack? Why did you give up your shin bones?
I know.
Exactly.
I know.
So you could fake the weight of a human body in your casket when they put you in the hole? Like, none of this makes sense. Why did you give up your shin bones? Explain yourself.
Shin bones.
Yeah.
That's one hell of a deal. I'll take one.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, you could cheat death by giving up your shin bones. Would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. Would you? Would you live forever with no shin bones?
I mean, yeah, why not?
All right.
Knowing that you have to go around your own school with a goofy old man mask.
See, but the thing is, my luck, I'd get my shin bones removed and then the world would end the next day. So.
Oh, yeah, true. But
I'd be like,
that begs the question.
I wish I would have had my shin bones for one more day.
So hold on, what was the deal that you made? You gave up your shin bones for eternal life? Was that the deal?
Sure, yeah.
So if the world ended, would you live on and just float?
I would hope not. That would be awful.
With no shin
You're
bones.
just floating around the universe on a chunk of New Jersey.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't need to walk. You'd be floating anyway, so.
A chunk of New Jersey with no shins. That's actually a good plot for a story where a guy, like, because then you can't suffocate because you got eternal life. So you're just kind of existing out there. God, that would be awful.
It'd be cool
cruising through space at like 30,000 miles per hour on a chunk of New Jersey.
What if, like,
on a chunk of the Jersey Turnpike?
What would happen if you, like, hurtled into the sun, like, and you didn't die?
Cut this out. I don't want anyone stealing this. This is gold. Finally figured out how I'm gonna make my millions.
or get sucked into a black hole. Then you'd be the only person ever to know what exactly happened.
No one would know.
You would.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there might be some like philosophical shit there. Like, yeah, you could live forever, but your brain's turned into Swiss cheese. Like, you're just like, yeah, you have eternal life, but you're like pissing all over yourself.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's through space.
That's interesting. So yeah, I don't know if I'd make that deal. Let's do this then. I will say, before we give our ratings, if you have not watched this film yet, you should go check it out. Like I said, it's accessible. If it's not on Shudder anymore, because I know it's leaving soon, it's on Amazon Prime. So if you have that or Shudder, you can go find it. You should watch it. It's, especially if you're a fan of the genre of, 80s slasher stuff, it's definitely worth seeing. So with that said, what's that?
Buy it. Just buy the DVD and then have it. And if you don't like it, sell it at a yard sale and tell me where it's going to be and I'll buy it.
Yeah. Good deal. DVD or Blu-ray? Mike would only buy the Blu-ray from you.
That's not always true. If there's a movie I really, 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 really want to own and it's not available on Blu-ray, I will buy it on DVD. I do have some DVDs still.
But if you know it's available on Blu-ray, you don't buy DVDs anymore.
No. If it's available on Blu-ray, I'm buying a Blu-ray. But if it's not available in that format, I'll buy a DVD.
So when are you starting your collection over again with 4K?
I already did.
So
I already started over.
Oh my God. You've been starting over this process since we were kids.
Well, if they would stop changing formats.
Yeah.
4K is awesome.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? So did you because I remember when we were living together, you had a fairly extensive DVD collection, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you started collecting Blu-rays, did you then start swapping them out for the Blu-ray version or?
Yeah. It's like I try to replace as much as I can. Try to upgrade.
What do you do with the old DVDs then?
I've taken. I have a lot in my basement, but packed away. But I've also taken a lot to Second and Charles.
Oh, okay.
Turn them in for store credit or whatever.
I was just curious because I never actually thought about that because I know you've been a collector for as long as I've known you. I
lose a lot of money.
You were trading up.
Yeah, I lose a lot of money that way, but whatever. I'm all about that picture quality.
Yeah, but you're not going to watch those DVDs again. So are you really losing money? You know, especially if you watched them once or twice, like I know you haven't. Like you're still getting your money's worth out of that first initial payment, and then you trade them off.
That's true. Yeah. If you think about it that way, yeah.
Well, that is very strange behavior.
Did that part cut out? Did that part cut out when I said?
No. Okay. Pat just did a really long, uncomfortable pause.
No, yeah, everything was good. So let's do this. So definitely check out the movie if you haven't seen it. There's a lot about the movie we haven't really touched on because, it's worth watching. We did spoil some stuff, but still, check it out. It's fun. So we're going to rate this film on a scale from 1 to 10 MacGuffins, 10 being the best. Mike, I'll give you the choice. Who should start, Mike?
Justin should go first.
Okay, let it be written.
Ooh. So you guys know how I feel about rating films.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm gonna give this one a 7 on the nose.
Are you? And what's it? Give me some reasoning for that.
I liked it.
Okay.
All right, moving on. So
there we go. Yeah. I don't know how to rate things. I really enjoyed watching it. It wasn't my favorite movie. I liked it way more. It's hard. I'm also like future tripping here too. Cause like, I'm really hot on it right now because like you guys said, it's a Justin movie. It's something that I probably should have already seen. It fits into what I like. If just based on that, it would probably be a lot higher, but I know I'm kind of like in that honeymoon phase with it right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to adjust for that. So that's why I got 7. So,
Justin, you said 7 on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Mike, would you like to go now?
Sure, I'll go next.
Okay.
All right. I did like this film, but I can't say that I loved it. It had a good feel to it, I guess. But it's not, I don't know. I'm not going to go.
I'm going to ask you 2 questions.
Okay, go ahead.
What did you like most about it?
Dead and kids.
No.
2 words.
What did I like most about it?
What you didn't like?
I kind of liked how it was just a little off. Everything was a little off. But again, that's probably
I like that too.
Because it was filmed in New Zealand. I think that's a factor for sure.
What you like least about it?
There's nothing I could say like, I didn't like that. It's not. I don't know if I could really pinpoint something riveting. Like that. What's that?
I said riveting.
No, I don't. There's no one.
I'm trying to come up with good questions for you.
There's no one thing that I could say like, I didn't like that at all. That being said, I think this movie's kind of, for me, it's kind of middle ground.
Are you glad you watched it, or do you think you could have done without it?
No, I wasn't like angry that I watched it. Like, what the fuck am I watching? No, not at all. It's not like I disliked it for sure. I'll give it a solid 6. I'll give it a 6.
6 it is. All right, so here's where I'm at with this one. So for this one, I use kind of like the memory test. And what I found, I would put this film kind of in the same box, and I'm not trying to box things together, but as far as other films that we've done on the show so far, I would put this one in the same box as Slaughter High. It's kind of, it fits more of that formula.
That's kind of what I was comparing it to in my mind, yeah.
So The difference for me between the two of them, though, now I will say this. I like the cast in this film, Strange Behavior, more than Slaughter High. And that's no knock on the guys from Slaughter High and the girls from Slaughter High, but I just know these actors. They're more accomplished long-term actors. But the memory test is I've only watched this movie for the first time a few days ago, and if not for my notes in front of me, there wasn't a lot that really stuck with me. There were some, the needle in the eye, the mask in the pool scene, and the Waldow character in his car. Like, there were flashes, but I felt there was more that I remembered in my first viewing of Slaughter High. It just, more things stuck with me. It burned more images into my mind that later on I could remember.
I totally agree with that, Pat.
I can see. I see where you're going with that. I definitely. I think Slaughter High has more like impactful, like boom, 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 like type.
Yeah, there were
imagery where this kind of just is like kind of swirling around a little bit.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. I don't know how.
No, and the production was good. Like I said, there were some odds and ends that I was picking up on here and there, but I'm not hating on that stuff. Sometimes I like the character of films. I like the flubs and I like the quick cuts and the questionable decisions, but this one didn't really leave much with me. Like, I felt like I almost, when Mike and I were on before Justin hopped on, I had to watch the trailer again because I just wanted to remember something. I had so much trouble remembering, and I had only watched it like 3 days ago, So
yeah.
I think there's something to that. But with that said, Justin, you gave a 7. Mike, you gave a 6. I'm going to give it a 5, smack dab in the middle.
Wait, what?
I'm giving. What did I freeze up?
No, I'm just saying. You gave it a 5, right smack dab in the middle of 6 and 7.
No, right smack in the middle of the rating.
Of the rating. I'm sorry, smack dab in the middle. Yeah, an average.
Oh, okay.
Right in the middle of. Yeah, not in the middle of you two.
Not in the middle of our rating. Rating.
Okay, yeah, I thought there was some Common Core shit going on. I didn't understand what was going on.
No, I should have phrased that differently. No, I'm going to go right down the middle of our 10 MacGuffin scale.
And
right
Pat, okay. I thought about going like a little lower in the 5 point something range, but then I was like, I had just said where I think it gets a little bonus because of the question Justin asked me about what did I like best, which was the kind of how it was everything was a little off. Mm-hmm. And that kind of gave it a little extra for me.
Yeah, I mean, I dug it, but I don't know. It didn't stick with me, and that's okay. I mean, not every movie sticks with every one of us, and that's fine. I think I like the actors that are in it. I like the ideas behind it. And in fact, when we get to the final portion of our show here, there's elements that they touched on that I want us to get a little deeper into.
Get jiggy with.
But yeah, I
feel like it wasn't memorable. But yeah, I agree. But I enjoyed living in that while I was watching it, but it wasn't like memorable because I watched it twice and still forgot about stuff by the time we're talking about it.
Yeah. So anyway, the average score for that one between the three of us is a 6, and our overall average since Slaughter High is, I will tell you momentarily,
which you should all check out, Slaughter High, and all of our other episodes as well.
Yes, you definitely should. Our average score from Slaughter High till now is 7.27 between the three of us. So overall, we're above average in our
movies.
Joy of film. So now for the next phase of our show, which is, as many of you know, a MacGuffin is a plot device used to drive along a story. And what we like to do here at the MacGuffin Guild is we use the film itself as a MacGuffin to drive along our conversation. So my question to you guys, I have 3 questions that I want to bring up. I'll start with the goofy one first. What these kids did in this film is they knew that there was this medical office or whatever you'd call it, run by these scientists, one of which who apparently the town thought had passed away, and maybe he had, wink, wink. But anyway, they decided that to make a couple extra bucks on the side, which is good for teenagers, they were going to go take part in these medical experiments. So my question to you is, have you guys in any capacity ever thought about or done any sort of volunteering for anything like that? Like you hear it all the time, people doing like sleep studies and volunteering. In fact, I think Robert Rodriguez, his history when he made it wasn't Desperado, El Mariachi, was that the first version of that film?
Yeah,
El Mariachi.
The way he saved up the budget for that was he did just those sorts of experiments. I think he stayed at a place. I'd have to look more into the details again. He had utilized that to make his first film, which is very, one, brave, and two, you got to respect. I don't know what they were injecting him with, but my question to you is, have you guys ever pondered doing that or been involved in anything like that?
Justin, do you want to go first or you want me to go?
The only thing I can think of I've done is when I lived out in Seattle when I was in my early 20s, I was like hard up for money. So I went to go donate plasma, which isn't the same thing, but I sat there, Christ, I can't, hours and hours and hours waiting. I filled out all the paperwork, just waiting forever. I finally got to sit down and talk to someone. They're going through the thing and they're looking at my thing like, okay, this is good. This is good. And they get down here and it's like, oh, it says here you don't have a spleen. I'm like, that's correct. And they're like, you can't give plasma. I was like, what?
Really?
Yeah. So they let me sit there for 6 hours before they told me I couldn't give plasma because I don't have a spleen. So
yeah,
that's
they
my
couldn't
big
have
story there.
They couldn't have a poster like out in the lobby.
That's the closest thing I had. Yeah, I do remember one time years ago I had a friend.
Years ago you had a friend?
Oh God,
I find that hard to believe.
One time, yeah, it was cool. It was a good time. I recommend him.
Maybe one day.
We're hoping to get another one time. Years ago, I had a friend I worked with, and this is probably 13, 14, or 20. Oh Jesus, hold on. It's in the late 90s. So. I remember going to a friend. I was late teens, early 20s, and I went to her house. And we used to go there occasionally to watch movies and stuff. And I remember her boyfriend at the time was sitting on the couch, and he just looked exhausted. And he was out of it, and he was just... it might have been the first time I met him, or maybe the only time I met him. I don't know. But he was just kind of whacked. And she said, yeah, he's been doing these, like, studies. Like, he was doing that regularly, like, doing those studies where, like, they test you on stuff and they give you all these pills and things and you have to wait till you do the next one. And I just saw the effects on him and it wasn't great. So
do you know specifically what, like, did he give you any information? He probably didn't even know what the hell they were giving him. Did he?
No, I don't think he did. I don't think he knew. I don't think he had a lot of because we're all in our late teens and early 20s. I was like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? You're just like, okay, you're fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think, like, now as an adult, I'd probably have questions like that's like, do you have any idea what they're doing to your body and what they're going to do, like, your future and your brain and all this other stuff? But at the time, like, oh, that's fucking crazy. Are we going to watch this movie or what?
Now, let me ask you, do you know
the Muffin Man?
Do you know where he is today or what kind of shape he's in?
I have no idea. My friend that I knew then, we're friends on Facebook, but I haven't talked to her probably in like 20 years. So as far as this guy, and it wasn't like a boyfriend, like a long-term boyfriend she had. It was just some guy she was dating for, as far as I know, like a short period of time. So I don't even know his name. I barely remember what he looked like.
Wow.
But I just remember him being like he wasn't completely like whack. Like he wasn't like, you know, microwaving babies or anything. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was a turkey. Like, it was just like, he just looked worn out. And just
if
like,
I had a nickel for every time.
Man, that's really wild, man. I don't know if I would have the guts to do that. I don't know if I pray that I would never get to the point where I felt so financially strapped that I'd have to pop pills that I have no idea. And maybe you're one of the lucky ones. Maybe you're getting the placebo, you know, where everybody else is getting the actual drugs. If they're doing,
but you would never know. You don't know.
You wouldn't know. So, Mike, have you ever been probed, Mike?
No, I've never even donated blood or anything, and I'll tell you why.
Please do.
I think
I'm a selfish prick. I think fuck everybody. It's my blood.
Not so much the blood thing, but the more like, you know, trying experimental like pills and different things like that. Why I would never do anything like that. I read the book Firestarter. That's how she got her powers. They experimented. It was an experiment on the parents. That's how they actually met at they're college kids, and they were, you know, doing that for extra money, and it made their daughter have freaking pyrokinesis. So
that's why you don't donate blood?
No, that's not why I don't donate blood. But that's why I would never do any of those kind of like take any of those experimental drugs or anything. I would donate blood. I just never have. I don't know why. I just never have it.
Because you don't want to have a kid that will save your life if you're ever caught in the wilderness by yourself.
Yes. But I would do like one of those sleep studies or something like that. Like that would be interesting. I would find that interesting, actually. Something like that, or you always see those things like where it's like they'll pay you $1,000 to watch this movie for 24 hours straight. All right, I'll watch it.
Dude, that sounds like that's totally your speed.
I mean, I would get sick of it probably, and also I can't stay up for 24 hours anymore. I'm lucky if I could stay up for 3 hours at a time.
What would be the one movie that would torture you to have to watch for that period of time? Like the Fast and the Furious franchise?
Twister. No, Twister? I like the Fast and Furious movies. Twister. I fucking hate that movie.
Even with Bill Paxton, you don't like that movie?
I hate that movie.
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Yeah. My trilogy of movies that I hate, but I like 2 of them now, but still hate that one. That's the one I still hate.
What's the other 2 again?
The other 2 were Forrest Gump and Speed.
Speed.
I used to hate all.
Why do you hate America?
Well, I think part of the reason why I hated those movies at the time was because people hyped them up so much. It's all anybody talked about.
Speed was fun.
I like it now.
Yeah.
I still think the one thing that still takes me out of that movie is when it's going, the bus has to jump that gap in the overpass. Yeah, that bus would just go bloop, fall right off the edge. It would not jump through the air and land on the other side.
What took me out of it was Dennis Hopper's little meat puppet hand.
What?
His little meat puppet.
I don't remember that at all.
You know it. He's got that little. He lost it in an explosion. Then it looks like a little oven mitt. Like his little hand is all like.
It's all like messed up.
I don't remember that at all. I gotta watch this again.
Yeah, but I enjoy that movie now.
When we go back to normal life, can we watch this?
Like I see the enjoyment of that movie, and I definitely my whole opinion on Forrest Gump is completely done a 180. I love that movie now. Yeah. But Twister, nah, fuck that movie. That movie's stupid. So yeah. I would still do it for $1,000 though.
Oh yeah. Well, I would watch any movie for an entire day straight for $1,000 as long as I had the day off. Like I'm not going to lose a day's work to watch a movie.
Well, yeah. Of course.
It would have to counterbalance. The pay would have to make up.
Yeah. For it. Right. And that's the same with any of those sleep study things. Could you make roughly
$1,000 a day at your job, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, our podcasting job. We make $1,000 a day.
After I said it, it did sound like I was like, I'm not gonna lose a day's work for $1,000 in one day. That's ridiculous.
I'm not gonna jeopardize the $80 I'm gonna make today at work.
Fucking money bags over here. $1,000 a day.
Is that what they pay to watch a movie, or is that just a number you pulled out of your ass?
I've seen different.
They probably pay like $17 or something ridiculous for you to do that kind of experiment. You know,
whatever. I'd still do it.
Yeah,
$17 is $17
an hour.
Yeah. What if it was the Twilight franchise, the whole franchise?
Well, I've never seen those movies, so I might be good getting through it like the first time.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, I've never seen it. Have you, Pat? Have you seen any of them?
No.
I think at one point somebody called me out for talking trash on the Twilight movies when I'd never watched them, and I was like, "That is an excellent point."
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So as far as these medical experiments go, I've never done anything like that.
No. Have you given blood?
You know,
semen?
I feel like I haven't. No, I feel like I've given blood, but I certainly haven't done it recently enough. I will say that.
Yeah.
I should do that. Like in fact, we should totally have like a MacGuffin Guild blood drive.
We should. Know? I can't give blood though because I have a spleen.
Oh fuck. All right. Well, me and Mike.
Well,
wait.
So I looked into it.
How long ago was this, Justin? Because maybe the law rules have changed.
The spleen grew back.
Yeah. You may have a spleen now. Have you checked? You don't know. I found out why, because this happened a couple of times. And one time I went to get blood. I was like, yo, dude, I just want to get blood and I don't have a spleen. What's the deal? And someone finally explained it to me. There's nothing wrong with my blood. My blood's fine. It's just because I don't have a spleen, it makes me immunocompromised and I'm more susceptible to infection. And then if I then on top of that were to give blood and then not have a spleen, that's a double whammy of
Gotcha.
like you're asking for trouble. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean?
So you would give the blood and then pass out in the waiting room, and then they'd have to inject the blood right back into you.
Yeah, I'd get someone else's blood. I'd get Mike's blood.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you.
Yeah.
All right. So the last thing that I wanted to talk
Take
about.
it from my cold, dead hands.
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the computer programming they had in this film. I thought was very interesting, and I can't. Justin, you're our resident IT guy, so you may know. But is it possible to program a computer to murder people?
Ain't you ever
So in
seen
1981, yeah, that's true. Have you seen it, Skynet?
Yeah.
So in 1981, I would say no. You couldn't. The technology was not there yet. Today, could you? I think so.
So how do you think you could put, because they were literally, whatever they were injecting these kids with obviously had some kind of connection to this computer program, correct? Am I reading into that correctly? And at one point, didn't she type in kill? Actually, did I just accidentally stumble upon a flaw? Did Dr. Parkinson program the computer to have Pete go kill John Brady, his dad, yet in doing so, he went and killed, quote unquote, dad, but not John Brady?
That was her research. That was her records
logging
of what she was doing.
Yeah, she was logging it.
Yeah, I think she was logging what she did. She's like, all right, I injected this asshole in his eyeball with some shit and then told him to kill somebody.
Okay.
Let me log this.
Okay, so I didn't know if that was I guess I misunderstood exactly what the operation was there. I was under the assumption, because I thought maybe I caught them in a little plot hole situation where she typed in kill John Brady and then he ended up going to kill dad, quote unquote, which would have been John Brady, or so we thought. But anyway, that'll make sense if you've seen the movie. So the last thing that I wanted to touch on before we shut it down, over the last handful of years for us here, actually more than handful because time is flying, it wasn't that long ago that smoking indoors became a thing of the past.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I noticed in this film, everybody was smoking. And at the party, everybody was smoking indoors. And even the very first scene, I think the young guy that gets killed in the beginning, he lights up a cigarette right before the power goes out. So everybody was smoking indoors. So my question to you guys is if you have any portions of your life, any memorable smoking indoor situations that just stick with you. I know that seems like an odd question, but...
Yes. Yeah, smoking was complex. Like in my household, my mom smokes, so there's always been smoking in the house forever. In my basement, we always smoked in my basement and everything. Yeah. I know you didn't smoke, but those of us who smoke, we just smoked right in the house.
Isn't that weird? Doesn't that feel like another lifetime at this point?
Dude, I remember going to, when we were in high school, I remember Janine and Barbie and myself going to Taco Bell, and they had ashtrays on the table, like little aluminum ashtrays.
Yeah.
And I remember one time, somehow someone acquired a collection of these aluminum ashtrays that they had. One time, somehow we had them all at Chris Wilson's apartment, and we started like tearing them and stuff, and we started making like throwing stars out of them.
Oh, jeez.
And I remember at one point I chucked one and threw it, and we all like kind of like, everyone like ducked away from them, and we looked all over and couldn't find this goddamn thing. And like, you remember we discussed earlier how small his apartment was.
Yeah.
It was about like, I don't know, 8 cubic feet. And
pretty much.
And we looked all over for this thing. We couldn't find it. It was stuck in his hair. Because we all had long hair then. I guess it cut up and the wind caught it and it went up in his hair and got caught in his hair.
He probably didn't find it for 4 days.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I have very distinct memories back in the day of like when we would have family parties, man. Like my family didn't smoke back in the day, but then when we would have a family party, like some of my aunts, they smoked like chimneys. And that smell, and it was normal back then. Like you knew when you had a party, it was going to smell like cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
And then that smell would like linger for like 3 days afterwards. So it was just wild to me, like in hindsight now, that was just okay. And there were like little kids running around and stuff. Just wild.
Oh, yeah.
And then...
Yeah, whole house was full of smoke with kids running around. No one gave a shit.
Yeah, just crazy. Like kids, getting smoke blown in their faces and stuff. And then for the longest time, I was in a band called Hallowed Cane, and we would play a series of bars in the area that we live in. And those bars at the time were you could smoke. And I would leave at the end of those shows because we'd show up at like 6 o'clock, start setting up, don't start playing until, between 9 and 10 o'clock. And some of these bars, the ones in Maryland were open till 2, correct? The ones in Delaware were open till 1. So in Maryland, we would be in a bar from 6 o'clock p.m. until 2 a.m. the next day. And the entire time, people would be smoking in there. Holy shit, dude. I'd have to burn those clothes by the time I got home. It was just awful. And
oh, yeah.
I don't know how we did that. Like, once it went away, and then you look back, it's like, that was awful.
Everyone was so outraged when they banned smoking in bars. Like, what? And like, I thought it was cool though, because I got to like step outside and like smoke, like outside for a while and like talk to people, Yeah,
outside, away from the music and the noise.
I still remember, I mean, this isn't really a major story here, like groundbreaking news or anything, but I remember, like as a kid, because my mom used to smoke. When I was younger, she quit now, but you'd be walking around the mall and people walk around with cigarettes, and they would have the little trash cans that would have like the little ashtray, like the top half part of it would be an ashtray.
Man, isn't that so weird?
I remember that.
Just walk around the mall smoking inside. Yep.
Yeah, and then to think about that now, like the insurance companies would be losing their shit these days. I mean, how did they not lose their shit back then? That whole freaking mall could have been burned down.
Yeah. Well, I guess nobody really thought of it as that much of a threat back then. I guess I don't know. Even like you said, like fire wise, even though those things did happen, but
it's funny because I was on the opposite end. As a smoker, I was fine when they banned it and you had to go outside because I was like, that's cool. I'll just fucking go outside. If you get to sit there and smoke all night, you're chain smoking, you go through a pack of cigarettes, you're like, well, shit.
True.
Where if you had to go outside, it's like, well, I don't want to.
Especially when it was like 22 degrees out. I always thought I always found it so funny when, like Pat, when your band was playing after smoking was out of bars and people had to go outside, and you'd see like this group just standing there like shivering, like to their very core, just sitting there smoking their cigarettes. It's like, wow, how is that even enjoy? I guess that was the point. They wanted to make it so unenjoyable that people would stop smoking.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like a 5-step program to get them to stop smoking.
Yeah, those were the days. That's wild. I remember that, man. That's crazy times.
Yeah, I mean, my mom used to. Well, she would go, like when my sister and I were like really little, she stopped smoking for a few years. But then when we got a little bit older, she was like, all right, well, I'm going to start smoking again. And, she was smoking in the house, smoking in the car, all that stuff. Yeah. And then at one point, I think she quit for a while, but then she started again, but she would only smoke outside. She wouldn't smoke in the house anymore. Because even she realized how much it would stink. Like, it took forever for that smell to get out of the house. She didn't want to bring it back in.
So, all right. Well, speaking of smoking hot, like this show has been, I think we should. I think we should wind it down. So, any final thoughts about the film, Strange Behavior, aka Dead Kids?
I, like you said earlier, Pat, I think everyone should definitely check it out. Like, form your own opinion. Everybody's different. Our reviews were kind of not as tight as they are sometimes. As far as closeness in the rating range.
It's definitely it's a hidden gem, so to say.
Yeah,
if you are a fan of that genre, especially 80s slasher, it's definitely one you should check out. And the fact that all three of us hadn't heard of it is pretty surprising.
I'm wondering if it took it a while to get over. No, because it was a co-production with the U.S., so I was just wondering if maybe it wasn't over here right away. Kind of like the same deal with what was that with Houseu? How that didn't hit the U.S. till way later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think Strange Behaviors hit right.
But maybe it was like
I don't know.
It says on IMDb November 13th, 1981, USA. So it sounds
Maybe
like it was
like,
pretty immediate.
It might have been like a really, really limited thing, even for back then. And then that, maybe it didn't have a whole lot of home video buzz.
Yeah,
like some of these movies do.
I'm not sure.
It's weird that none of us knew about it. It's just.
All right. Well.
But anyway.
Final thoughts? Anybody? No.
While we're talking about a film that's an Aussie co-production, a semi-famous. Definitely to us, we're well familiar with this actor. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name exactly. It's Hugh Keays-Byrne. It's Keays-Byrne, Byrne. Hugh Keays-Byrne, who played Toe Cutter in the first Mad Max film, and then he came back for Fury Road as a different character, Immortan Joe. So anybody familiar with those movies knows who this actor is. But he just passed away. Believe he was 73. So that kind of sucks. He was cool, man. I was like super thrilled when I found out he was in Fury Road. Like he was coming back to the Mad Max world, albeit as a different character, but still pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
So that's a bummer.
A MacGuffin toast to the life and accomplishments of Toe Cutter. So I'm not going to attempt that name.
Yeah, Toe Cutter.
So cheers.
I got to say my favorite line from that movie.
What's that?
From the original. When he confronts them at the farm they're hiding out on, or they're like at a bed and breakfast kind of like farm on their travels, and the gang catches up to them. And Toe Cutter is like, Kundalini wants his hand back.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? Because they confront her at the little ice cream shop, and she takes off, and he's got his chain wrapped around her bumper or something, and it rips his hand off.
Yeah.
So he's still there. He's like standing there, doing the whole where he's hiding where his hand was.
Yeah.
And Toe Cutter's like, Kundalini wants his hand back. Great. I love that line. I randomly say that. But anyway, JJ?
I think if you like Strange Behavior, check out Strange Invaders. If you did not like Strange Behavior, don't even bother with Strange
Behavior. I definitely want to check that out. I liked it anywhere.
Again, I like Strange. I don't think so. Last time I checked, but I didn't like Strange Invaders as much as Strange Behavior, but I still liked it. So
I'll probably like Strange Invaders more.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for another episode of the MacGuffin Guild. Please continue to check out the episodes. Tell a friend. Tell a loved one. Follow us on our social media, please. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Discord. You can find us on all of them. We want you to be a part of this. We want to hear what you have to say. Let us know. We'll give you shout outs. And we appreciate all the support. We're having a lot of fun, and we hope you're enjoying it as well. We want you to be a part of this. Join the guild, and let's keep this thing rolling. So thank you again for your patience with even now with our new temporary setup here. Hopefully, we're still bringing you that same quality MacGuffin Guild sound.
Yeah, we'll get it sorted out. In the meantime, hang in there with us. We'll get it. It's just
we're working out the bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we appreciate everything. Thank you for listening, and keep on coming back. So, as always, Mike, Justin, always a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of it. And
thank you.
Yeah, guys, and take care of yourselves. Winter's coming. That's all.
What are you, Jon Snow?
What are you, Jon Snow? No, it's
I'm just saying 2020. 2020 has been really tough on a lot of people. Winter's coming in. People with seasonal depression are already feeling it, and it's take care of yourself. If you're the giving type, make sure to take care of yourself first, so you have more to give to other people to help them get through. And that's all. I just wanted to remind people, mental health is very important, and it starts with you, and you can't help other people until you can, help yourself. Not to be too
no, it's an awesome message. Seriously.
Yeah,
I endorse that message.
Yeah, if you take, yeah, we're all morons and, whatever. But if you take anything away from all this, just, be safe and be happy and take care of yourself. And that's what we really want. So,
and our big point with this is we want desperately just to help anybody else who is looking for any kind of glimmer of positivity and laughter in life right now. We're all about it.
Yes,
we're just
absolutely.
trying to find the positive and have fun with this stuff. Look, we're talking about.
I think people really need it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're
Yeah.
talking about a movie called Dead Kids, for crying out loud, and we're trying to find laughter. So
yeah.
no, but we're just all about, just having fun and laughing and just being together and taking part in something that we all enjoy. So thank you so much for being a part of this. And guys, I appreciate you as always. So hell
Hang
yeah.
in there, baby. We'll get through this.
Yeah, we will. All right, Justin, Mike, say bye.
All right, guys. Take
See
care.
you.
Peace. We'll see you next time.
I raised you better than this.
You will
Since we're you will be.
Oh my
Since
God.
This is,
Man, you both got good Yodas. What the hell, man?
yeah, dude, I have fucking 40 years of work on it. So,